Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it. Dopamine. Dopamine. Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it. Dopamine.
Back on the tail of Gunnar. He's looking to make an overtake already. Down the inside he goes.
Is he gonna go? He's gonna do it!
Oh, with Hackett now up into P9. Down the inside he goes. Another aggressive move on the other Mercedes driver. Is he gonna make a mistake? Doesn't look like.
Closing. Problem is, if he goes.
Oh, that's nice for Broad Adam, moving up to P7.
Dopamine.
As he's currently looking to gain about 3 or 4 points. Oh, and is Nellboy gonna go for it down the inside of Waza? Seems like he is, and he makes up that position. Beautiful overtake by Nellboy.
12 races, multiple divisions, 20 drivers.
All that sound good? Then why not join us now ahead of the new season? The link to our Discord will be in the description, and we hope to see you on track with us.
Delta T Racing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to DTR Division 1. I am D Summers 90. I am your comms host tonight. We are in the Styrian Mountains in Austria this evening. We do have a new driver in the lineups tonight. We have Charlie joining us for Aston Martin, taking the place of Sid, as Sid did not even 2 races, considering he didn't finish either of them, I don't believe. But yeah, welcome in. Hope you're all doing well. So we do have a couple of cars going out. I believe that is Stuart. There we go. So we'll stay on with Stuart for now. Let's have a look at the drivers from last time out. So Benny is still top of the table with 127 points after winning in the monsoon rain that was Great Britain summertime last time out. He was closely followed by Masked Ranger, who got P2 in that race. He is in P3 in the standings as it is. Theo doing well on his debut season in P2, getting a podium last time out as well. This does mean that Red Bull are starting to pull away from the reserve team of Cadillac in the constructors. Aston Martin are a little bit behind purely because it's just been Theo by himself. But that could all change tonight. Everything could change in one race. Let's go on board with Stuart for his first lap of Austria. So across the start-finish line into a heavy uphill braking zone. Very difficult corner to get perfect. He does very well. Opens the DRS, putting his foot to the floor. Up into turn 2, which is that left-hander there, into the most difficult corner on the track, turn 3. It is so undulating on the exit, it's difficult to get your traction correct. But through this DRS zone, down into turn 4. This can be tricky, especially if you're fighting someone. He does very well in quali trim at this moment in time. Left-hander of 6 through turn 7, very wide through 7. And that is a Haas getting in the way. I wonder, that was Kazingle giving him the squeeze. And it's a 104.6. It probably would have been a little bit quicker if this man had gotten out of the way. Masked Ranger with a 104.9 in behind. We have a Ferrari of Cassell coming round the final corner. Oh, a little bit of desync there by the look of it. Up to P2 with a 104.976. And I believe this will be Havoc Connor coming round the penultimate corner now. Very smooth through the penultimate corner. Very smooth through the final corner as well. 105.0. Not a bad lap considering his main objective is in Division 2. We have M. Benny coming around the final corners now. I'm expecting this man to be very quick. As I said, very quick. 0.42 for M. Benny there. Ricker just goes up to P2 with a 04.5. Pipke into 4th, reserving up this evening with a 104.9. Good evening, Piney. Let's see. We have Charlie on his first hot lap and he is invalidated this evening. So, not the best of laps from him, but I know he's been practicing. He hasn't raced in league settings for a year, so he should still be relatively quick, but we'll have to see how his race pace goes. Is he going again? Yes, he is. He is now burning the battery. But he will have Kavolis ahead of him on a lap. So Kavolis will be the next man to set a fast time. Yes, Piney, it is Charlie from Contest of Speed back in the day. And he'd better do well in this league because he was my recommendation and he better not show me up. But Kavolis taking it very smoothly through Sector 2 here. Through the final corner. Very close to the edge of the track up to P4, 104.9. A lot of drivers in the 104.9s. So we will go back on with Charlie as he is about to complete his lap. Where does this put him? It's a 105.2. Have a Williams. It's Pombear on his out lap. Let's have a look and see who is around and where. So we've got Magic Poop Cannon about to set a lap as well. Purple sector in sector 2 for Poop Cannon. Could he be a dark horse in this race tonight? Does he have it in him? We know that he can be quick, but he just doesn't make the right judgment calls at times. Up to P5, 104.9. And Skipper does a 105.7 behind him. We've got Moncho and basically half the grid out on the track. We will stay with Pombear as he's reserving this evening. It is his first fast lap, so we'll see where this puts him. Slides it through the final corner there. Not exactly the right way to do it, and it's a 108.5 for Pombear. Theo is now coming out of the pits onto his out lap. Let's have a look. Benny Bruno is still in the pits. Tom Putty coming into the pits. Havoc Connor is still going. Is he? Yep, he's recharging the battery in this section of the track. Let's see if he is able... Is he actually burning? I cannot tell. But one of the two Saubers getting out of the way, he is not burning. E-Rush has been burning his battery though. And that's very wide entry into the pit lane. Skipper going for another run. He does have full battery. He is burning. So he is now going for a push lap. Turn 1's always an awkward corner to get right. You have to be consistent with it. Otherwise, over the 36 laps, you will lose a lot of time. He has just set himself a personal best in Sector 1, so this should be a good time from Skipper. I didn't notice... Oh, Stewart has just popped himself up into P3 with a 104.5. There's still just under 9 minutes of qualifying remaining. Is Skipper going to be able to go faster with this lap? Or has he worn out his tyres already? He does go faster. He goes 0.2 faster. Not a bad lap from Skipper, considering that was on scrub tyres. Theo has invalidated. I don't know if he has actually completed a full lap yet. So, I know Charlie is coming up to the line now, so he is starting a lap. There's a lot of people going around now. So we've got Jack and Moncho in quick succession. Personal best from Jack in the middle sector there. So he's getting well out of the way on the right-hand side for him. And he's invalidated on the penultimate corner. We'll jump on with Moncho. He hasn't invalidated. Is he going to be able to go any faster? And he jumps up. That's a 4.5 improvement up to a 105.0. Let's see. Got Pombear coming round now. D-Rush is starting a lap, so we'll stick on with Pombear. That's a almost 2/10 improvement from Pombeer. Theo coming round the final corner. Where is the Aston man going to put himself? It's a 107.4. I have a feeling he doesn't like this track too much. That is a 104.2 from M. Benny, putting him on pole position. We also have Benny Buno out on track. So this man here is just saying, oh yeah, by the way, I'm still here, and pumping in these very quick qualifying laps. Bogrovsky is about to start a lap. Tom Putty has invalidated that lap, but I believe he's going again, yep. Have an Alpine. Invalidated Cavolis. Cassell is behind him. We've then got Benny Buno coming across the line. Benny Buno shoots himself up into 6th place with a 104.8. Theo slaps. I do apologise. Theo slaps Benny off of pole position and says, no, that's my spot, by a couple of hundredths there. Now, is Bogorovsky going to be able to get in a fast lap? He's the last man to set a time. Let's see, where does this put him? Up into P8 with a 104.9. A lot of drivers in the 104.9s this evening. So we have... Cavolis went again, so let's see where this puts him. 104.7 up to P6. And the Ferrari of Cassell, 104.9 up to P10. So we have Connor on his out lap. We then have... It's Pombeer behind him into the pits. One of the Haases is... Okay, we will go on with Connor because I believe he is the first man to be on a fast lap. I could be wrong. It could be Tom Putty. Nope, Tom has backed out of that lap. So we'll go on with Connor. Into turn 4. Rather aggressive turning, to be fair. That's maybe the better way to get this corner done. Very smooth through turns 6 and 7. Through turn 8. I've noticed no one is cutting that turn 8 curb. It can save you a bit of time. Bit of a wobble from Connor there coming into the final corner. Doesn't hamper him though. That's a 104.7 up to P6. Magic Poop Cannon comes across the line. P3. A 104.3 from the Estonian driver there. His teammate is on an out lap. Let's see. Oh, D-Rush has crashed. So... And Skipper has invalidated his lap. That's unfortunate. So we've got Stewart on an out lap. Mars Ranger on an out lap. Jack has just started his lap, so we'll see what he will be doing. Actually, I know what he'll be doing. He'll be talking Spanish with Pipke in a VC. And then cackling and putting every other driver off. Into turn 4. Very well taken by the look of it. Go on board. Lets the car drift out wide naturally through turn 6. There we go. That's the kind of curb cut I was expecting from drivers around here. Very close to track limits there. It comes across the line. It's a 104.9 from the Haas driver. Skipper is going again. Does he have the battery? Well, it looks like he might have the fuel on board to go again. So he just used this as a sighter lap. And Pombeer disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Well, that was not expected at any point. I wonder if someone get damage from the back of him? I do not know. But we do have Stewart and Mars Ranger both on their fast laps, where everyone else is out on their out laps. Hopefully these guys realise that someone is coming up behind them. Skipper, please do not impede. We don't need more quali bans going around in DTR. And that has caused Stewart to invalidate. I think that was due to the dirty air off of the back of the Sauber there. Unfortunate for Stewart. Mars Ranger goes top with a 104.0. That's a great lap from the McLaren driver. So let's see. We have Cassell coming across the line. Starting a fresh lap by the look of it. Tom Putty's just come across the line. I'm getting lost. Okay, so we've got Mercedes of Benny Buno. He is now done. Bogorovsky up to P6. We now have Theo wanting to get his pole position back, and he invalidates. That is heartbreak for the Aston Martin man. We now have Kavolis coming around the last two corners, and he invalidates. It is Pipke now. Up to P9. Charlie coming across the line. Where is he going to put it? Up to P8. He finally gets it right. Oh, that looked very close to an invalidation from Cassell there. Does not improve. Tom Putty does not improve. Havoc Connor goes ahead of Pipke. And Poop Cannon stays in fourth. So we've just got Skipper to come around at the end of qualifying here. Oh, I didn't notice Benny stole P2 from Theo as he came across the line. So it is the three main protagonists at the front of the field in a slightly different orientation compared to the driver's standings. But there's still all three of them up there. I am impressed with Charlie, as he hasn't done any league racing in a year, and he's got himself up into P8, so he'll be able to put up a decent fight if he gets his strategy right this evening. Now, talking of strategy, tyres wear out like butter around here. So, softs are probably off of the table unless you are in the last 5 laps and there is a safety car. Other than that, the 2-stop is probably preferred. A 1-stop might be doable, but you have to really manage your tyres around here to be able to do so. So we will see what drivers do this evening. We will have a look at what pit stops they decide to do. If a safety car comes out, then it throws the strategy up in the air, basically. But the preferred strategy is a medium hard, and it doesn't matter because it's peeing with rain. So I think that explains why the front runners were not in the 103s and they were only in the 104s. I wonder, is the rain only going to be for a short stint? Let's have a quick look at the Discord. No one has said anything to me regarding weather. So, yeah, it's all up in the air. We're going to have to see what's going on. But if you do fancy joining us for racing, becoming a steward, commentating, or just being a part of the community, we have a Discord link in the description below. Please make sure to click on that, join the Discord, sign up to race if you wish, sign up to be a member of staff if you wish. If not, just come along and have a laugh. We do, a number of us do play different games other than F1, but this is our weekly ritual. So if you do wish to race in F1, the more the merrier. So, what are the driver's tyre options? Okay, so it's wet enough for full wet tyres. No, Grellis, it's not raining. It's bright sunshine, as you can see on the screen. But the majority of the drivers have gone onto the full wet tyres, whereas Theo, Stuart and Ricker have all gone onto the intermediates. Oh, and Magic Poop Cannon and Stuart have had a coming together and have been sent to the gulag on the start-finish straight. Okay, so I'm being told by my pit correspondent, Grellis, that the weather showed lightning and lots of rain till the end. Inters are a mistake. Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we, Grellis? We'll see how the dry line appears and how the race goes from there. Oh, Theo near enough missed his grid slot, and there you go. So far, Theo is the only man to have missed his grid spot, as the two guys behind him were silly enough to play bumper cars on the way round on formation lap. Just waiting for the last cars to line up now. We'll see how these Inters get away on the start here. It is very wet. There's going to be swimming pools in the cockpits. That's 4, 5 red lights. And away we go for the DTR Austrian Grand Prix. And yeah, there's a lot of wheel spin on the Inters from the start. Oh my word, he is sliding everywhere. Meanwhile, Charlie has already made up 2 places and has stormed past Benny Bruno and Bogorovsky, and he's gone into the side of Magic Poop Cannon by the look of it. And there was a collision further back with Moncho involved, and Cassell has dropped to the back of the grid. Cassell was very much off track there. I think Cassell is having major issues right now. So Charlie is up to P4 from P8 in the first lap. He's absolutely loving life right now. He's behind his teammate and catching up to him as his teammate is on the inters. Meanwhile, Mars Ranger has maintained first place with Benny in second. There's more shenanigans going on back here. Havoc Connor has got himself past the Sauber of D-Rush. Cassell is coming into the pits. I wonder if it's going to be a retirement. Yep, there we go. Ah, dear. So, the front runners, Mars Ranger and Benny, pulling out a gap on Theo, who is currently on the intermediate tyres. It might have been the wrong choice at this point. The drivers will have to be careful of the Ferrari that's come out of the pits. Hopefully the stewards pick up the car quickly. Otherwise there might be mayhem. So let's have a look at the position changes. Charlie is up 5 positions. Theo, Poop Cannon and Stewart all down 1. Moncho up 2, Bog down 2, Benny Buno up 4, Cavolis up 2. That's the fastest lap for Mars Ranger, a 1:18.8. Cavolis is up 2, Ricker is down 4, Pipke down 1, Kazingle and Tom Putty up 3, Havoc Connor down 5 positions from the start, NLD Rush down 1 position, Pombeer up 2, and Skipper has stayed where he was. Let's have a look at what's going on with Theo. As Cassell has now left the session, I don't think it was a good first sector for him. He was off track up into turn 3 even. Understood, Nailboy. So I have been informed that Cassell was having connection issues and had actually asked permission to retire in the pits. So I doubt he will be getting any form of penalty from the stewards for it. Oh my word, Theo is not having fun on these inters. There's no dry line to speak of, and it's been 4 laps. He definitely has gone onto the wrong tyres for the start of this race. Meanwhile, Charlie has, well, made one hell of an impression at the start on his debut. Up into P3, Benny Buno fighting with Bogorowski through turn 3. And Benny and Mars Ranger are next to each other. Who's going to win out here? Benny yields and lets Mars Ranger go through, but is he going to try the switchback? He tried but couldn't get the traction down. Had a bit of a wobble on the exit of the corner. These two are pretty much what we would call the Division 1 wet race kings. They know what they're doing when it comes to racing in the wet conditions. They've won, between them, the majority of the wet races that they've taken part in. So we'll just have to wait and see which one of them will end up being the victor at the end of the day. But now Theo is actually starting to catch up to his teammate of Charlie. Big lock up from Theo into turn 3 though. Just saw the wheel stop and the car carry on. Cars have seemed to spread out considerably apart from Jack and Connor and Benny and Mars Ranger. So Benny is asking a lot of Mars Ranger right now. He's putting the pressure on, seeing if Mars Ranger will make the mistake, all while drifting through Sector 2. And he's not really losing any time to him. Onto the wetter part of the track to cool down the tyres. NLD Rush is the first man to get a time penalty, as Theo has now got himself the fastest lap and gets past Charlie. Is there a dry enough line for the Inters at this point? Have they now come into the temperature window due to the slightly drying track? And we have Pipke into the pits. What is he going on to? He's slapping on the Inters. He feels it's time for the Inters. Stewart is getting closer and closer to the back of Poop Cannon here. And of course, I believe, yep, Stewart is on the Inters where Poop Cannon is on the full wet tyres. So 6 laps have passed and the Inters are starting to come into play. I mean, look at this. Theo has already gapped Charlie by 1.5 seconds. And Poop Cannon gets himself a 3-second time penalty. This track is a penalty magnet. Oh, Stewart went very cautiously into that corner there. Did not want to have contact with Poop Cannon. And Poop Cannon gives him a very wide berth. Bogorovsky comes into the pits, likely to put on the intermediates as well. Let's see. So Stewart has pulled out a gap on Poop Cannon. Moncho is now the next man to make a move, but both of them are on the wet tyres. They're on the full wets, but Moncho was able to get the pass done. Benny Buno, a very aggressive move up the inside, diving into turn 3 to try and get past Poop Cannon, and he has managed it. Great move from Benny Buno there. Saw the opportunity and took it. So, now, I believe Ricker is on the Inters. Yes, he is. So, he will probably be the next person to get past a wet tyre runner. As Benny has now dived into the pits. He got himself ahead of Mars Ranger and dives into the pits. Theo is now fastest lap again. Charlie also into the pits. Everyone's switching over to the intermediate tyres as they are now the faster tyre. So maybe those on the Inters at the start were not as crazy as Grelis thought. As Theo has only got 3 seconds to catch on Mars Ranger. And that time is absolutely flying down. This has dumped Benny behind Benny Buno. He's down in P6. He's going to have to make up a good few positions if he wants to win this race. Benny Buno is now catching the back of Moncho. Meanwhile, Theo is just eating into that time on Mars Ranger. Mars Ranger is coming into the pits. So, Theo has now inherited P1. And he's absolutely flying at this moment in time. Stewart up to P2. We Not exactly expecting it from the qualifying we saw, but being smart about your tyre choice is winning these guys the race at this moment in time. Moncho is still on the wet tyres, so is Benny Buno. They've got M. Benny for company. He is hunting them down now. We have Jack chasing down Tom Putty on both of the intermediates. Is he going to make the move into turn 3? Is he going to be close enough on the exit? Gets good traction, but it's not enough to get him caught up. Looks like he was saving a bit of ERS there. So is he going to be able to make a move this lap? I am unsure at this moment in time, as Moncho and Benny Buno must look like they had it coming together there before turn 10. And Benny is now the man flying. Charlie gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Why did you do it, Charlie? Why? But this now means that Benny is roughly 13 seconds behind Theo. Jack also gets himself a 3-second time penalty. The penalties are being thrown out thick and fast right now. Ricker is chasing down Cavolis. And Jack has got the move done on Tom Putty. We'll go back on with Ricker, as he is the closest driver to any other man on the track right now. So let's have a look at the penalties while this is going on. Everyone who has a penalty, only 3 seconds at this time. Not bad for this point in the race, to be brutally honest. If it was a dry race, I have a feeling a few drivers would be a little worse for wear when it comes to penalties. And Skipper has passed Pombeer at the back here. Bit of a wobble from Skipper. But now Charlie is trying to catch back up to Ricker and Cavolis. Is he going to be able to catch up to them while they are still squabbling here? Is Ricker just happy to sit behind Cavolis for a few more laps? Because if you can get the intermediates to, say, around lap 18, anywhere between laps 17 and 20, you will be in good stead for your second stint. A little bit wide from Ricker through turn 6 there. Gives Charlie the opportunity to get right behind him. Look at how close he's getting. Benny with yet another fastest lap here. And then Mars Ranger takes it away from him. A 1:16.0. That tells you everything you need to know. The times are coming down thick and fast. Is Ricker going for the move this time around? It looks like he might be aiming to do so. Yep, both him and Charlie pulled out. But he goes deep. Ricker went really deep into turn 3. Did not get his braking point correct, especially on the wet side of the track. Oh, a little bump from Ricker on the back of Charlie there. Charlie not going for the move on Cavolis as of yet. has the superior grip right now. Oh, I say that, and he slides it through turn 8. But he goes for the move. And pulls it off through turn 10. Or turn 9 even, sorry. That looked like that could have been a track limit warning for Charlie there. But after being stuck behind Kavolis, both him and Ricker have lost significant time to the front 4. Theo is just loving life at this moment in time. No cares in the world. Just doing TT laps in the rain now. He's got 9, near enough 10 seconds back to Stewart. But he does have his compatriot of Benny behind him, slowly reeling him in, lap by lap. Is Stewart going to fight like a lion, or is he going to decide to pit in instead? We'll have to wait and see on that. There's still 2 seconds for Benny to make up. Mars Ranger is catching at a rate of knots behind, though. So everyone is spread out, apart from Tom Putty and Jack. They are still within a second of each other. Now, I don't know if this was a mistake from Stewart, but he is now less than a second ahead of Mbeni here. It looks like his tyres might be starting to die out. Benny catching the back of Stewart in the straight. Stewart sliding it through the corners. Doesn't look like Stewart is enjoying his rear tyres at this moment in time. He's really struggling in that Alpine to do anything through the corners. He can get the power down in the straights and maintain the gap, but going through the corners, he seems like he is really having an issue. Whether it's of the skill variety or because of the tyre layer on the rear of the car, we do not know. Both drifting it through turn 4. Very cautious on the throttle pedal of both drivers here. But while this is happening, while they're on the straight, we will go up and give this man a little bit of appreciation. He is absolutely storming away with this win right now. Theo has probably become the new wet weather whisperer for DTR. Benny's alongside Stewart. Oh, there's contact. Stewart turns in, not expecting a Red Bull next to him. But Benny gets the move done and dusted. Up to P2. He now has 11.5 seconds to try and catch Theo. Stewart dives up the inside of turn 4 and forces both of them off track. Oh, Stewart. Stewart. And that's given Mars Ranger the opportunity to get past Benny as well. Benny Buno and Ricker fighting through turn 4 as well. Both Pipke and Pombe in the pits. So Stewart making a nuisance of himself for Benny there. And he gave Masked Ranger the opportunity to get past. Now, let's have a quick look at that on replay. Let's pray that I got it in time. Yep, there's the dive up the inside, and they lock tyres, which ultimately pushed both of the drivers off of track, slowed Benny right down, and gave Masked Ranger the opportunity to get back ahead of Benny after that first stint he had on the wet tyres. Tom Putty now gets himself a 3-second time penalty as well. We will have a quick look at the penalties. Only one driver has multiple penalties so far, and that is the Haas driver of Magic Poop Cannon in P9. That's not going to help him in the slightest. That's going to give Bogorovsky the position if things stay as they are. Stewart is well and truly struggling through these corners. Now, does he think he can get his Inters 18 laps on a fresh set? Because I'm pretty sure these are going to be absolutely ruined. And Benny goes for the dive on Masked Ranger, but Masked Ranger does a little switchback. Oh, contact between the Red Bull and the McLaren driver. Benny gives him the room on the inside, but doesn't give him the time of day. Closes the door on the exit. Nicely defended by Benny there. Now, I will say, for someone who hasn't raced in a league setting in over a year, this man is impressive. And Pipke has retired. What happened to Pipke? That was on the exit of the final corner. And it is a full course safety car as well. So Stewart, Masked Ranger, Charlie, Benny Buno, Ricker all managed to get into the pits. Benny decided not to. So I wonder if his tyres are doing fine enough for him to get to the end of the race at the pace he was doing. It was unfortunate for Theo because he was already past the pit entry when the safety car came out. It looks like everyone and their mother and her dog are pitting under the safety car here to get a fresh set of intermediate tyres. Will Skipper be coming in? And Poop Cannon has retired from the session. He crashed on the exit. There he is there. Okay. That was at least one driver I wasn't expecting to retire from the session gone in Pipke. Poop Cannon, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe got a bit too happy on the throttle on the exit of the corner. Theo has now pitted fresh tyres. Benny is also in to get a fresh set of tyres. And by doing so, he is now ahead of Stewart. Was Mars Ranger serving a drive-through, I wonder? I thought it was the other McLaren of Moncho, maybe. Oh, actually, it wouldn't be a drive-through, would it? Okay, Moncho, we've just caught that on. Yeah. Don't know what that was all about, Moncho, but okay. Well, caught that one on camera. Nell boy, sick 'em. So now everyone is on fresh intermediate tyres. Apart from the retirees, of course. I do wonder what happened to Pipke, though. Did he cut the corner a bit too much? Or did he just slide out wide and smash into the wall? Who knows? We're going to have to find out after the race. But we do have a skipper in among... this is going to put the cat amongst the pigeons here. As he is a lap down. I believe he might even be 2 laps down. Now, skipper, if you are listening, on the restart, please go full race speed until you get to the start-finish line. Once you cross the start-finish line, then you can get out of the way of the other drivers. Unless Theo is kind enough to let you pass. Because if Theo pulls off to the side and it says to let you pass, you can then pass the safety to unlap yourself. Oi, oi. So we still got quite a few large gaps to be made up here. And we're only on lap 21 now, starting lap 21 now. So we've got another 16 laps to go. Let's just hope that these guys are quick enough to catch the pack and not put themselves into a wall. Otherwise, the safety car will come in sooner or later and let the race continue, even with the large gaps. So Benny Booner has caught up. Next to catch up will be Ricker. So, a couple of these retirements have favoured a couple of drivers. There we go, safety car is coming in this lap. If you are not caught up, then it's tough luck, basically, at this point. We will go on board with Theo for his restart. We'll keep an eye on Skipper behind him. Let's hope that Skipper does go with him. And Theo has gone. No, Skipper. Is that going to result in penalties, I wonder? I don't know, but we will keep an eye, as Charlie has taken advantage of Masked Ranger and I think Stewart coming together in turn 1. So currently it is a Aston Martin 1-3. Benny Bruno tries to make the overtake on Stewart through turn 3. They are basically neck and neck as they come down to turn 4. Stewart goes for the dive. He's on fresh tyres. But he goes wide. He outbraked himself into turn 4 and ended up on the gravel. Mars Ranger also gets himself past Stewart. Stewart just seems to be struggling all in all. Meanwhile, Theo does have a 1.7 second lead on Benny. Is the Scotsman going to be able to catch up to Theo? I mean, after this race, I'm pretty sure Benny will be happy with a podium. I know this man will be very happy with a podium if he gets it. Considering he's been away and he was Grelis's biggest nemesis when it came to another league where they first met. In their first season, they went hammer and tong pretty much every race, running away at the front of the grid. Give me a better camera, please. As Benny Bruno has got himself up into P4. Let's have a look at the position changes. So Benny Bruno is the biggest winner at the moment with 9 positions gained. But that could go down to 8 if Mars Ranger is able to get the pass done. Benny setting the fastest lap of a 1:15.2. He is eating into that lead of Theo. Meanwhile, Mars Ranger is hunting down Benny Bruno for P4. Let's have a little look further back. Havoc Connor is looking to try and make a pass on Bogorovsky at some point. He's hoping sooner rather than later. Benny is now within a second of Theo. He has caught up to the back of the Aston Martin with so little time taken. He's only done it in 2 laps. Considering he was slightly held up by the Sauber of Skipper on the restart. Benny definitely has the pace in the straights. It's in the corners that he's losing time to Theo. And Pipke from the press tent has reported that he lost the rear in the last sector and hit the wall. I'm guessing it was it the inside wall or the outside wall, Pipke? Meanwhile, Mars Ranger is chasing down Benny Bruno while we wait for a reply from the Swedish-German Chilean driver in the chat. Stewart has started to catch up to the back of Mars Ranger now, although he has just dipped out of the 1 second on the outside. Okay, thank you very much, Pipke. So, loss of traction, a massive slide, and straight into a wall, destroying the car, totaling it, and probably killing the driver. Oh, yeah, okay, Poop Cannon has left the session. It's not someone lagging out, that's fine. Mars Ranger struggling to get past Benny Buno here. So there are a few drivers who are close to others, but not quite close enough to make a move as of yet. Hombeer and Skipper are now on the same lap, so this is for position. It's not going to be in the points, but it is for position. And Theo just seems to have immense control of his tyre wear. He's now pulling away from Benny in these last 3 laps. Just creating a gap, making it easier on himself. But what I have noticed, Charlie is now 3.5 seconds ahead of Benny Buno. So if Benny Buno cannot catch the back of him and Mars Ranger can't do the same, means that Charlie will get a podium on debut. Mars Ranger doing everything he can to try and get past Benny Buno. Benny Buno later on the brakes, doing really well to defend this position. That's an amazing amount of defending from Benny Buno. Stewart has now joined this little battle for P4. I wonder if he'll be able to do anything about the battle, though. We also have another trio back here of Kavolis, Tom Putty and Kazingal. Is Tom Putty catching Kavolis, or is Kavolis just getting past him and pulling away now? It looks like he is pulling away. We will go back up to the front here as Benny Buno is defending yet again against Mars Ranger. Mars Ranger really wants to get this move done because they are now just dropping time to Charlie with this fighting. With this many laps to go, this might be playing directly into Charlie's hands. As long as Benny Buno keeps trying to defend P4 and keeping Mars Ranger behind him, it will be an Aston 1-3 with Benny in P2. Let's have a quick look at the penalties, see if there's been much of a change. So Stewart is now on 6 seconds of pens, so he will lose a place to Ricker if it stays as is. And Kazingal is also on 6 seconds, but he is far enough ahead of D-Rush, who also has a 3-second time penalty. So, Pipkey, if you are still in the chat, how treacherous was it out there? It looked absolutely awful. And that looks to be Havoc Connor getting a 3 seconds. Yep, that is his second penalty this evening. He's getting all of the gremlins out tonight so that he doesn't get them tomorrow in Division 2. It now looks like Mars Ranger is not able to keep with Benny Buno. Benny Buno has started to make a bit of a gap between himself and the McLaren driver. And the gap at the front between Benny and Theo seems to have roughly stabilized around the 1.2, 1.3 second mark. Although, if Benny does too much of that sliding around the final corner, he will, of course, lose time. Those 2 attempts he lost in that final corner lost him a fastest lap. That's unfortunate. as it seems Stewart has had a bit of an issue some point on this lap, as Mars Ranger has made a gap to him now, with Benny Buno ahead. Jack is now catching the back of Tom Putty. Jack has always said that he's, I'll put it kindly, not very good in the wet. So Pipke is saying that the start of the race was absolutely awful, but it went better for the Inter runners. And he thinks everyone's struggling because they've all got dry setups on. Which is a silly mistake to have made, especially if it was showing the rain in the race. Mars Ranger just cannot get himself past this Mercedes. He is going to have to do something special to get past Benny Buno. Meanwhile, Havoc Connor still quite happily sat behind the sister team and the driver of Bogorovsky. But this is allowing Kavolis to catch up. They are going to have to do something about that. Pipke is saying that they were hoping it would be dry. Yeah, I think every driver hopes that it would be a dry race, except for maybe Benny, Mars Ranger and Theo. Because, by the look of it, from previous, they're the only ones who know how to race quickly in the rain. And as I say that, Theo gets the fastest lap, a 1:14.5. So the dry line is truly coming in now. Ricker gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That is not going to help him in keeping Bogorovsky behind. Bogorovsky only needs to catch by half a second to be able to claim P7 at the end of this race. Is Jack now going to go for the dive into turn 1? Nope, he's more reserved than I would be. I would be panicking at this point with it being lap 33. I would want to be ahead and getting toward the point-paying positions. Kavolis is still hanging on to the back of Havoc Connor here. With Havoc Connor having 6 seconds of penalties, it does mean I believe he will drop behind Tom Putty, but not Jack? Am I correct there? Yes. So what Havoc Connor would need to do at this moment in time is make the pass on Bogorovsky and piss off down the road. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. Benny Buno and Mars Ranger are starting to slowly creep back onto the back of Charlie here. Charlie just needs to keep his nose clean for the rest of the race and see where things go from there. Not quite a good enough exit for Masked Ranger to try and get past Benny Buno there through turn 3. Meanwhile, Theo and Benny are just quite happily following each other around the track. I wonder if Benny is just conserving his tyres at this point. Theo has so much more ERS than Benny. They've both been burning, but it seems Theo has only just started to burn on this lap. Is he going to try and go for a fastest lap right at the end of this race. Mars Ranger is still trying to catch the back of Benny Buno. But Benny Buno is now within that 3-second threshold behind Charlie. Charlie is going to have to put his foot down to try and gain 4 or 5 tenths just to stay in the podium position. Looks like Benny Buno is now burning with gas, as it were. He's slowly catching up to the Aston Martin ahead of him. So what we will do is we will go on board with Theo as he starts the final lap. That is the gap back to P2. It's not a big gap if it were in the dry, but in the wet it feels like an eternity. Yeah, Benny Buno has absolutely put the pedal to the metal now. He has caught up over half the time that he needed to the back of Charlie. And he has brought Mars Ranger with him. As Kavolis gets a 3-second time penalty, so Connor is still going to lose out 2 positions, but it's not going to feel as bad as it could have. So, Theo coming through the final sector of this race. I was not expecting it to be a completely wet race all the way through. The drivers were thinking the same, except for maybe this man. Well done, Theo. That is a win for Aston Martin. And Benny comes across the line in P2. And on debut, on track, Charlie has come across the line in P3. But he will be jumped by Benny Buno and Mars Ranger, so he drops to P5. Stewart comes across the line in P6. Ricker, now coming round the penultimate corner, will take P7 unless he has 6 seconds of penalties. Let's see. Bogorovsky, the next man with no penalties. Does not jump Ricker. Kavolis jumps up to P9. Tom Putty up to P10. Havoc Connor taking the Nathan position of P11. Jack taking P12 after a hard-fought battle with Tom Putty. NLD Rush finishes in 13th. Skipper comes across the line in 14th and gets passed by Pombeer, I believe, unless Pombeer was another lap down. I cannot remember. I will have to have a look at it on the timing boards. But congratulations to Theo, Benny and Benny Buno on the podium positions there. Well done to all the drivers who finished the race. Wet races are never very fun to deal with. But there you go. Race winner, fastest lap and cleanest driver, Theo. Driver of the day, most overtakes, Benny Buno. What a race we had here this evening. So let's have a look at this. Yep, Pombeer did pass Skipper on under the penalties on the final lap there. So your top 3 are Theo, Benny and Benny Buno. Then you have Mars Ranger, Charlie, Stewart, Ricker, Bogorovsky, Kavolis, Tom Putty, Havoc Connor, Kazingle, D-Rush, Pombeer, Skipper, and our retirees are Moncho, Magic Poop Cannon, Pipke, and Cassell. And Cassell will not be getting a penalty because he asked permission before retiring in the pit lane. So it's that time of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. We will be back tomorrow night, same time as always, for Division 2 with Nellboy. I will be back next week with Division 1 commentary, same time as always, Wednesday 8 PM GMT. But I failed to mention, this is an Austria double header. We are heading back to the Styrian Mountains next week, and it will be the Austria reverse track. So hopefully it will be a dry race, so we can see the ultimate speed of the drivers around a track I'm pretty sure none of the drivers have done in a league setting until this point. I have been DSummers90. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.